There has been a unanimous feeling regarding Rajkumar Rao appearances that there is a fatigue with the actor playing small town comic roles where each part seems like an extension of the same. In Malik, however, the man comes all guns blazing to remind you that he isn't a one trick pony. But the sad reality is that with Superman this weekend, no one cares. It's crazy on how perception can be built about you in context to just a small slate of films. Rajkumar Rao has created a career in the film industry by gaining a reputation that he is extremely versatile. Yet everyone started assuming most recently that his range may be restricted to playing the silly fool in small towns, finding himself in a comedy of errors, not realizing that this is the same man who did Love, Sex or Dhoka, Gangs of Wasipur, Shahid, Aligarh and Trapped. And he did this with the same conviction as he did Bareli Ki Barfi, Ludo, and Stree. The man has a range most dream of, and him going out of his way to prove the same with Malik had me even more excited. The film is directed by Pulkit, who you may remember from his previous exceptional work Bhakshak starring Bhumi Pednekar. This is his second collaboration with Rajkumar Rao, as they previously worked on the web series Boss Dead or Alive, another testament to the versatility of Raj. Malik is set in 1988 Allahabad and focuses on the rise and power of Deepak aka Malik, played by Rajkumar Rao, a man who believes that positions that are rightfully someone's can either be granted to them deservedly or someone can achieve them by simply snatching it and claiming it. Malik, through several gang wars and illegal trade, garners huge influence in the area, having political aspirations in the process, really ruffling feathers for those in positions of power. This is where his journey comes in contact with politicians Shankar Singh, played by Saurabh Shukla, and Balhar Singh, played by Swanand Kirkire. Does Malik remain an asset for their political aspirations or a threat? And why does Prabhu Das, played by Prosenjit Chatterjee, a cop known for 98 encounters, get employed as the new SP in Allahabad, forms the basic premise of Malik. You may be also wondering, with me describing the plot, that there are several parallels with Rais. Well, you're not far off. Here's me telling you the good and bad aspects of the film so that you guys can ultimately decide whether to watch Malik in theatres or not. A time machine of the time and place. The film is set in the late 80s and 90s in Uttar Pradesh, and if you are privy to the history of violence and lawlessness that was associated with the state during the time, you would realize that the depiction of gang wars in the movie was not very far from the truth. The cinematography by Anuj Rakesh Dhawan truly acts as a time machine to the place in which the film is set. Large portions of the film have been shot in Lucknow and Varanasi, and it's abundantly clear in the frames. You truly feel this from the first scene in which the trucks of Malik have been stopped by a police officer, only for him to be hauled up in an Omni and humiliated by the gang. This is the era in which the state had an emergence of Bahubalis or gangsters, having deep links with politicians too, so they can get their dirty work done, and this is what Malik accurately portrays. You will be naive if you believe that the depictions are exaggerated, because the lawlessness and encounters that used to take place really blurred the lines for the people on who is breaking the law and who is upholding it. There were open market murders, a deep nexus amongst gangsters, politicians, and the police force, and more importantly, influence carried such weight that those who committed crimes were ideal to standing up for the next elections. Item songs are just boring at this point. The concept of item songs in these movies have gone from becoming an extension of the lair of the villains to just an excuse for characters in the film to dance around a scantily clad woman. While anomalies like Bidi Jalaile would exist where the filmmakers actually created songs that fit scenarios and the setting of the film, this necessary evil of commercial cinema has evolved into something you just can't escape, no matter how many moral lectures of women objectification I make on this channel. Whatever the genre of John Abraham movies at one point of time, be it a generic action film or a police investigative thriller, it was standard ki bhai Nora Fatehi will help speed up the case. Now the genre and setting of the films are immaterial. Ek na ek meeting karni hai film ko, while some actress is dancing in the background for and you have an income tax raid film, Tamanna will appear. You have a gangster film, you had Sunny Leon in Rais, and you have Huma Qureshi here, adding absolutely nothing to the plot, not even being impressive from a musical and choreography standpoint, and this format is genuinely just exhausting. I've just come to the conclusion that every film needs to associate a music album to its plot, and the most low effort integration one can do is the addition of an item song and promo numbers. where your lead pair awkwardly dances towards the camera so that you market this film as the credits roll. A boon financially, but a curse in storytelling. The cast. I absolutely cannot fault the performances of this movie, and this is something that I knew will not let me down when I stepped in for this film. The supporting cast in the form of Anshuman Pushkar playing Rajkumar's best friend and right-hand man, the only member in the gang who calls Raj by his name Deepak, is brilliant in the film. One of the most underrated actors who was brilliant in a series like Grahan and even Jamtada, and absolutely shines here. Manushi Chillard, with her initial slate of films, has got a lot of slack for being rather poker-faced in her brief acting career, but this hands down is her best performance, and you can clearly tell that if she is handed over a credible script and is directed well, the actress has a lot of potential. In the soft and endearing moments as she interacts with Rajkumar, you can feel her fear, horrified at the prospect of losing her husband, and she is genuinely convincing in her role. While Saurabh Shukla does not get enough screen time, he is proficient in his role as the politician, slowly observing the rise of Malik, mindful of the repercussions that come with such power. I was expecting Prosenjit Chatterjee to be an absolute menace in this film, but he is portrayed really... I'm sorry, this might sound rude. He's portrayed as a dimwit who constantly screws up the missions he is handed over. He is easily manipulated, he is intimidated by Malik, and he doesn't really formulate into becoming a worthy opponent for Malik. Saurabh Sachdev also plays a heavily underwritten character, and if there is an actor who actually leaves a lasting impression in this film, it is Swanand Kirkire as the absolutely hilarious Vidhayak, annoyed of Malik's influence. His frustration, especially channelized towards Prosenjit, extracts the funniest moments from the film. The problem is that it's in isolation. Often these characters are bitching about Malik and his rise in the comfort of their own homes, not really leading to several moments of trash-talking conflict that I wished for when the characters go toe-to-toe with each other. And this is where the biggest demerit of Malik lies, not having a worthy opponent for a loose cannon like Rajkumar Rao's character. Abrupt screenplay and lost potential. The film has this odd tonality of shifting the mood in abrupt intervals, not really allowing for a smooth experience as a viewer. You establish Malik already and you get into the thick of the conflicts from the word go, and this benefits the film. However, the screenplay halts the progress when it wants to briefly focus on his origin story. This is where a weakly shot football match is showcased, which will make any amateur player who plays Sunday football also facepalm in embarrassment. You move on from this origin story, where there is specific focus on the title of the movie and what it means to Rajkumar Rao's character, Malik specifically. However, again, when things get heated and action set pieces follow, the screenplay has the knack of abruptly halting such progress. You've got key dramatic moments and kills of important characters taking place. It makes you assume that the things are going to get crazier, only for the story to then focus on a romantic song. It totally throws you off. There is an attempt to establish an emotional bond between Rajkumar and Manushi, but rather than this relationship being a consistent feature of the film, it's reintroduced so far late into the story, it almost makes you feel like that the makers are forcing you to feel empathy for both of them. Whereas, it should have been more consistent throughout the screenplay. The action set pieces are shot in a very amateur fashion. The punches and kicks lack any kind of true impact, and you realize that in the momentary phases where there is drama, where the characters actually trash talk between each other, that's where the film truly shines. Not in the action set pieces. I started feeling the gap between what Malik is and what its true potential could have been in the brief moment where Deepak is joking with his gang. Suddenly, character traits of these supporting characters appear and you realize that 2 hours have passed and you barely know the people that Rajkumar is surrounded by. Another case of the focus being more on the style and presentation versus the relationships and characters. Rajkumar works hard in this film, both physically and emotionally, investing in Deepak and how he becomes Malik. The man has the strut and swagger required for the role, his endearing moments with his wife side by side with the absolute rage with which he strikes those who cross him. Raj truly is a one-of-a-kind actor I will always root for. There is a switch where Raj absolutely loses his mind, and it's truly a sight to see him go absolutely unhinged. The issue is that the screenplay oscillates and abruptly halts the storytelling in such consistent fashion that you feel like there was potential for Malik to be great, and it somewhat falls in the mid category of films in this genre. When you think about the gold standard in terms of Gangs of Wasipur, what I even remember today is that the film got the style on lock, yes, but the point of conflict of Badla was so strong, the characters were so iconic, the face-off between the protagonist and antagonist was so palpable, and even the supporting characters left such a distinct mark with their personalities. You quickly realize that Malik falls short in several of these categories. In the final moments when all is failing, the makers force feed this unnecessary and random climax that it actually makes you pity them for randomly even believing that this would be a plausible way to end this film. I had a lot of expectations because of the cast, and while they did deliver, I must say that the treatment by Pulkit the director severely let it down. And that was the video, guys. Write down in the comments below what you thought about Malik. Please don't forget to follow me on Instagram, the handle is right in front of you. Follow me at JammyPants4. Also, please support us by smashing the like button and subscribing to our channel for weekly content ahead. Thank you for watching.